Hello and welcome to our digital presentation on cyberbullying. So before we dive into the impacts and possible solutions for cyberbullying, we first need to define what cyberbullying is. So cyberbullying is bullying using social media, texting, or other electronic means. It is when people use technology or social media to cause harm to another person. In schools, cyberbullying is actually rising more and more as more students are on cell phones at an early age. This is due largely just because technology is advancing. So, with technology advancing, with more and more of our students being online, it is important that us as educators are not only aware of the implications of cyberbullying, but also that we are teaching our students how to be safe online.
Hello, my name is Cameron Furr, and I am an elementary school teacher. I teach PE for grades K through 5. Recent concern due to cyberbullying, while students don't use their devices in my class, they're constantly on their devices outside of class, and we can see that in how they act, how they talk, and you see it a lot in the way that they act throughout the day. We recently had an issue where one of my former students was bullied through Snapchat, through FaceTime, and all these kids now have devices that some parents aren't litigating their usage like they should, and that student was bullied into the point where she decided to take her life. Cyberbullying is showing that almost 34% of students are facing cyberbullying. It's creating some serious emotional struggles for students, and we need to find a way to control the amount of time that they spend on these devices and what they are allowed to see.
I currently teach at a sixth grade school, so pretty much all of our students have phones. And one big concern that I face with cyberbullying in my class is the fact that I teach computer science, so my students are on Chromebooks every single day. And although our school does our best to block certain sites that they may be able to get on, students find a way to get on stuff that they're not supposed to be on. And so that is a big concern that I see in my class. Furthermore, our biggest behavioral issues that we face come from issues that students are going back and forth on or sharing between their phones, using cyberbullying in that way, that they then bring those issues into the school, or they bring those issues that they have at school that they've been texting each other about or recording each other about, and then they take that outside of the walls. So it truly is a constant battle for myself and my school regarding cyberbullying and just honestly students using their phones the way they shouldn't be.
A current concern in my classroom regarding cyberbullying is the increased use of digital devices and social media, such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Students have access to cell phones, iPads, laptops, and other devices that allow them access to the internet. This has made cyberbullying harder to monitor. Cyberbullying can be done 24/7. No matter the time or place. According to a study done by the Cyberbullying Research Center 2020, nearly 34% of students have experienced cyberbullying, and many of them report significant distress.
Hey, my name is Parker. Currently a paraprofessional in a high school, so all of my students pretty much have cell phones. And I get to have the opportunity to move around from classroom to classroom and see these different ages, content areas, and different types of students and get to see how they all act at different age levels. For instance, currently in my classroom is recently two of my students who were dating decided to break up. Then a video started going around school depicting one of the students calling the other student fat and ugly, and saying hurtful things about them. This is just one prime example of the issue that is present within my school and other schools like it throughout our country. I think that a big role that plays into this, and I see this a lot with our school does a really good job at trying to keep the students off their phones. They have specific ways to do that, but they're still on them, and it's a testament to this problem that we have of addiction to our cell phones that plays a big issue in the K-12 school systems and cyberbullying. According to this 2022 study done by Wu et al., we see that there is a positive correlation between mobile phone addiction and students' depression, cyberbullying victimization, and cyberbullying perpetration significantly mediated the relation between mobile phone addiction and high school students' depression. So we see all these words today like brain rot and doom scrolling that show how our students are just glued to their phones all the time. And of course, with that addiction comes this problem of cyberbullying. So there is so much more to it than just cyberbullying. There's student depression and addiction that plays into with it.
Cyberbullying is a concern in my classroom, even though I'm in PE, and you wouldn't think it would be affecting very much in PE. It's a very prevalent issue. The rise in cellular devices amongst our students and the internet capabilities they possess, and social media sites such as Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok have brought cyberbullying to new heights. It can take place at any time across these apps and usually happens at school, which is a harder time for administration, teachers, and parents to prevent and track. And sadly, in PE, this is where most of these situations come to a head. No matter the organization of the class, the nature of them being up and moving around gives them the freedom to address these issues face to face and sometimes become physical.
In today's digital age, a lot of the challenges that we face is that these kids are always communicating, learning, and devices always have an impact on their daily lives. While the internet does have benefits, it's also bringing new challenges. And cyberbullying is one of the main challenges. Social media, messaging apps, gaming platforms, those are all platforms to be able to harass, threaten, or humiliate other students. And sometimes people aren't able to trace them until it's too late. Unlike traditional bullying, which is the face-to-face, cyberbullying can occur anytime and anywhere. It can come from anybody that can hide behind a screen. The widespread use of smartphones and laptops and tablets that is making it easier for students to connect with one another is becoming the big issue. Now, every student in our school has a Chromebook or an iPad that they are on at all times. And one of the worst things I see is that as soon as kids are leaving the school and are getting on the bus or getting in the car, the first thing they want to do is get on their phone or iPad or whatever it is, which is just not how the generations used to be. Cyberbullying is occurring in private messages, anonymous posts, temporary stories that are disappearing after a certain amount of time, and this makes it difficult for parents, teachers, and administrators to be able to intervene unless it is brought to their attention, which there's many victims that are not going to go out and say something. Cyberbullying is relentless. Since it happens online, the school day is over. A student can get hateful messages, hateful posts late at night, leaving little time to recover emotionally, and this exposure makes some of the victims feel like there's just no way out.
So, certain challenges that we face with cyberbullying is that students use technology during school. So, because there is technology always at their disposal, it is very easy for them to be tempted by their peers or honestly just be tempted to go on sites and do things that they shouldn't do while online. Also, phones and social media presences are not really being monitored well. Yes, at school we block sites, but even at home, some parents aren't aware. And so, as much as we wish we could know absolutely everything our students are doing, we are not aware 24/7 of what they are posting online or even what they're doing in our class using their computers. Cyberbullying allows students to bring outside school issues to school, and often this compounds the problem. So that is one big challenge that we are seeing with cyberbullying, is that whether the issues are in school or outside of school, because we have the phones and social media, they're just never able to escape it. And also, cyberbullying continues to rise because more and more young people are becoming active online. I feel like this is one of the main challenges that most people face when relating to the topic of cyberbullying, is more and more kiddos at such an early age are getting phones and are not properly taught or monitored with how to use them safely.
The rapid advance in technology has created several opportunities as well as challenges. Some challenges include anonymity, detective difficulties, and the impact that it can cause on one's mental health. Anonymity, cyberbullying can hide behind fake profiles, making it extremely difficult to identify them. The anonymity allows perpetrators to dehumanize their targets, which allows them to say and do things that they would not say or do face to face. Detection difficulties. Cyberbullying often occurs on social media via text message or private chat rooms. Parents and teachers are not able to visibly see the bullying that is taking place, and students may be afraid to report it until it's too late. Mental health. Victims of cyberbullying experience depression, anxiety, and low self esteem. These feelings can even lead to suicidal thoughts or actions.
Some big challenges that we have with this issue of cyberbullying was highlighted in this really good article simply titled Cyberbullying by Jennifer Holliday. And this quote from her article says, "You can pass around a note to classmates making fun of a peer and it stays in the room," said Sherry Bauman, director of the School Counseling Master's Degree Program at the University of Arizona. "But when you post the same note online, thousands can see it. The whole world becomes witness and is invited to participate." From Holiday 2011. According to the statement from her article, it's a significant problem. Cyberbullying is, and that there's a challenge to it in that so many people can see it. It does not just stay in the room, in the classroom. Traditional bullying, like getting slammed against a locker or having notes passed in class, like we see depicted in movies, and which was like that for all of the 20th century and most of the 21st century, has occurred within just the confines of the school building. It occurs in just this classroom, lunchroom, on the playground, or wherever it happens, and when the students leave, it stops. But with cyberbullying, it happens outside of the school, and it keeps happening, and it's relentless, and anyone can see it, not just the students at the high school or elementary school where it occurs at, but it's students at another school in another state or all across the country, adults even that have no business seeing it. So that's a big issue, a big challenge with this issue.
The biggest challenges I see with cyberbullying are the way that it takes place. It's not something that's very loud and boisterous. It shows itself in many ways. The nature of it being online, it's very hard to track. These kids today, they have the ability to do anonymous stories, or they have the usernames that are not their own names, and they'll delete them and remake them. And it's very hard to discern who said what, and these stories disappear after a certain amount of time, so it's very hard to track the actions that happen online. And it's so much more quiet than something that happens face to face at school. Unless the kids say something, the victim could go unnoticed for a very long period of time getting cyberbullied.
Some opportunities that can come around to help resolve this fight against cyberbullying is just that taking more responsibility and improving tools to stop cyberbullying, reporting, blocking abusive content. Educators, they have a way to be able to monitor websites that a student goes to, what apps they have on their iPad, and parents have that opportunity as well. But it comes from the elders, the parents, the teachers, and the people that are constantly around the student to be able to litigate and control what they are seeing both online and offline. Cyberbullying is a serious issue. It is not unbeatable. With greater awareness and policies, supportive communities, we can reduce the impact and the way that some of these students are feeling in the digital world. The issues of cyberbullying, we have the opportunity to create that safer and more empathetic digital world, while still finding the needs and necessities of the digital world in the classroom, and being able to make learning easily accessible to these students, and making it to where they have better opportunities to learn. But together we can transform the meaning of online use and technology, and how it is used, and how to safely use it to provide that chance of meaningful growth and progress.
Even though cyberbullying brings about many problems, it also brings opportunities. One opportunity it brings is to teach students online safety and how to be a good digital citizen. It also gives an opportunity to show students social media and how it can be used for positive things and not just negative things, or to talk about other people. It also can teach students that there are consequences for their actions, that if they're on a sports team and they post something, or they're trying to get into a college or apply for a job, that their social media presence can have an impact on that. It also can help connect social media presence to students' future, like we're talking about with colleges, and if they want to be a part of a sports team or job, that their digital footprints does make a difference in their lives.
Technology has the ability to spread awareness and prevent cyberbullying. Nonprofit organizations such as Cyberbullying Research Center and initiatives such as National Bullying Prevention Month are supportive digital environments for youth. Technology offers platforms for cyberbullying victims to share their experience and help them seek support anonymously.
Now, some opportunities and ways that people are jumping at to get to help with this issue is some opportunities that certain researchers are trying to mitigate the problem is they're creating and utilizing software and an online algorithm within certain social media platforms that they detected groups of words and then categorized them into one of 30 themes, and that's from an article written by Hinduja and Pachin. The group that did this is from the MIT Media Lab at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and they are seeing an opportunity to use this algorithm and the software that they created, and they partner with certain social media networks, and it flags or disables accounts if this algorithm detects these behaviors and these words in messages, comments, and other areas within the social networking app.
The opportunities for this issue is that there's a growing demand for some tools in the technology space. You can create apps or software that detects some harmful language and can track the red flags of it. AI could analyze patterns of cyberbullying and flag behavior in real time. It could possibly tip people off to cyberbullying as it's happening.
The solutions for this issue, we have to continue to educate students on digital citizenship, teach them that even though you are online, there are still consequences to your actions, and ways that you should treat others even though that you are not together or face to face. Continue to implement school policies and programs, establish, ways to control what they can go to, what they can see, if they can message or not, and provide resources like peer counseling and reporting systems that they can always come to. Foster open communication. We don't want the fear that the students can't come to us, and we want to create safe spaces for discussions and online behavior. Strengthen the parent involvement, guide parents, and give them tips on how they can help control a student's online usage. Leverage technology for prevention. Use AI to monitor and flag harmful content, advocate for better reporting and blocking tools, building support networks, partnering with mental health professionals for some counseling, and encourage peer-led campaigns to promote kindness and inclusion. And then finally, raising awareness through campaigns, organizing school and community events on the effects of cyberbullying, and using social media, which is becoming an issue, to create that awareness where all these students are able to have access to it and be able to see it.
So the question remains, how do we fix the problem of cyberbullying? So one thing that we can do is prioritize teaching digital safety lessons in the classroom. For me personally, I teach computer science, and this is actually built in some of our standards. And so especially this 9 weeks, I've been trying to do a few more lessons on this, just to try and pound in, the fact that students need to understand how to be safe online. And this includes not cyberbullying or partaking in that. Another way is we can keep parents informed. Like I said, because I teach computer science, I can show parents, what their students are up to in my class, but we can also encourage parents to be aware of their students' online presence. We can also show students that their actions have implications, that just because it's online doesn't mean that no one's going to see it or that there are no consequences for their actions. Another thing that we can do is create school policies that help create concrete steps for how to handle cyberbullying at school. And another way is working with the school district to promote anti-bullying initiatives in school. Some ways that I've seen this done is through different Spirits Weeks revolving anti-bullying, bringing in guest speakers, but also just having policies about phones in general at school can really help with dealing with the problem of cyberbullying on campus.
Solutions with cyberbullying. A solution to help mitigate cyberbullying would be to promote digital literacy and online etiquette. Students should be educated on how they should behave online. As an educator, we can find programs that teach digital citizenship and the consequences of cyberbullying. Schools should enforce clear anti-cyberbullying policies that outline the consequences for any student that engages in cyberbullying.
Because of the great magnitude of our internet, and as big as it is and as anonymous as it always will be, it's going to be hard to really stop this issue, to stop people from doing it. But we can help the victims and help educate the victims of cyberbullying and what they can do to stay away from it. Since these bullies can do it from anywhere at any time in an anonymous way, it is difficult to know exactly who is doing it so that it can be dealt with. Now, according to Justin W. Patchen in his article titled Teens Talk, What Works to Stop Cyberbullying, the remedies he suggested included: one was to block the person. The most common reported method from teens was to simply just block the person bullying them. I think I've done that before. Another way is to ignore them. Another commonly reported method by the students was to simply ignore it. When they ignored it, they stated the bully eventually stopped and probably got tired of trying to deal with them. I've done that too. Another way was to get parents involved. Now, I think a lot of students won't do this because they're afraid of what their parents might find out about them possibly, especially if they're being maybe blackmailed by the bully. But half the students reported that they would tell the parents, and in most cases it worked the most to end the problem, and I can see how it would work more. Another way was to just take a tech break. Students reported that they would stay off technology for a bit and even shut down their accounts completely. They stated that it helped stop the bullying and even helped with their overall focus and mental health. The last one was to report. Students stated that reporting the bullies on that platform that it occurs on was most helpful. They stated that to most, they would not want to be banned from this app, so because the internet's a big part of our lives, so most people don't want to be banned from it. So if you threatened to report them, or they were threatened with being banned from the app, they would most likely stop, and that's what happened with most of the students. They reported them and threatened to ban these bullies, and they eventually stopped for fear of being completely banned from the app.
And then solutions as a school or a community program that could incorporate digital citizenship into education to teach young people how to use the internet responsibly. It includes lessons on the impact of cyberbullying and respecting others online, and understanding the consequences for your behavior online and how it could affect one another. And then social media platforms and messaging services could implement some AI algorithms, like I previously mentioned, that could detect harmful language or offensive content or bullying behavior in real time. And it could flag posts or messages and prompt warnings, or just go ahead and take them down right from the jump.
In conclusion, I hope we brought some attention to cyberbullying and the impacts that it is currently having on students in schools across the country. Overall, we need to be aware that cyberbullying is a growing issue and it does need to be addressed. As educators, we can help teach students digital safety and promote positive digital citizenship. We also need to be aware that cyberbullying can cause catastrophic impacts to students and families, so it's very important and serious that we begin to educate students on digital citizenship. Thank you for listening to our presentation.